Does the fact that we have so many copies of the New Testament documents preserved from the most ancient times prove that what they report is reliable, historically factual, and miraculously preserved? Many Christians think so. Many Christians, Catholic and non, love to bring up that we have more copies of these biblical documents than we do copies of any other ancient literature.
You see the supernatural. Immediately you see the supernatural. So when you take the miraculous element, you take the historic element, you look into the scriptures and you see there is an authenticity, and it all points to one perfect person, the person of Christ. Bruce Metzger, who is a scholar from Princeton, made the comment. He said, after you take the 20,000 lines of the New Testament, it is safe for any scholar to say there's at least a 99.6% accuracy. No ancient document, none, has the kind of documentary support that the Bible has. Over 5,000 documents, or even Time magazine in 88, I think, Richard Osling made the comment. One thing we cannot deny the Christians, he said, is the documentation that is available across the centuries. Nothing in ancient literature matches it, neither Homer, nor Aeschylus, nor any one of nor the Gaelic wars of Caesar, whatever. So when you've got this kind of documentation, this kind of accuracy, that kind of a person in the person of Christ, I think you've got pretty compelling evidence to see why it is that we need to take Christ very seriously.
In fact, they go further. They argue that because there are so many copies, proving, according to them, that the Bible presents factually precise historical stories, if anyone were to doubt the historicity of the Bible's contents, if they were to doubt that the Bible is a historically factual work, then they would, in order to be consistent, have to doubt all other ancient historical accounts and documents. You know, this kind of specious argument makes us Christians look particularly stupid. It's very popular with many Christian apologists, and popular speakers, and writers. But it's just a non sequitur. Think about it. Would it be wise to judge the reliability or historicity of a book's contents on how many copies were made of it? Biblical scholar and atheist Dr. Bart Ehrman asks if he could demonstrate that more copies of Adolf Hitler's Mein Kampf existed than Augustine's Confessions. Would that make Mein Kampf more reliable, more trustworthy, more authoritative? I hope not. And if more copies of Karl Marx's Communist Manifesto existed than The Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith, would it then follow that communism must therefore be superior to capitalism based on the number of copies? Or consider that from the earliest centuries of the body of Christ, there are more copies of the Shepherd of Hermas than there are of 2 Peter, which is a canonical work, one of the 27 New Testament documents. Dr. Ehrman wisely asks, does that demand then that the shepherd must be more trustworthy, reliable, and authoritative than 2 Peter? What does the number of copies we have of a book indicate? Answer: how many copies we have. And beyond that? Nothing. For ancient documents like the New Testament library having so many copies preserved from the earliest times definitely says something, especially about medieval monks who were interested in them and cherished them and valued them so intensely that they made many copies of them. But consider, if the Mongols had swept across Europe unchecked, do you think the amount of ancient copies of New Testament literature would be so numerous? Come on. And what bearing does any of this have on the historical reliability, trustworthiness, or authority of the New Testament literature? None at all. To say otherwise is a bogus argument. Hey, neo-Orthodox apologists, stop making us look stupid.